a System 11B MPU, and this one's from a Jokerz, and it had alkaline corrosion throughout the reset section. Some of these traces leading from U41, U42 were damaged, so I've applied jumpers to the back of the board. These 5 SRCs originally were 4.7K, right? And then there was a capacitor integrated into them like this one is. But in reality, that capacitor was to tamp down high frequency noise between the MPU and the displays or the soundboard. So you can get away without adding those capacitors. Replace these filter caps on the power input, and then there's 2 10 microfarad caps in the sound section I replaced. I cut these things off because these things get bent, and these normally open, normally closed switches sometimes make without you knowing it. And I've abated the alkaline corrosion, of course. I had to scratch some of my conformal coating off to test for continuity, but I'll spray that again when I'm done here. And she should be good to go, so let's fire it up. Of course, it's got whirlwind ROMs in it right now because I don't have a Jokerz soundboard that I can use to test. Now these sounds...
All clear, all clear, all clear, all clear, all clear.
all those sounds are coming from the MPU board, and that is working correctly. Display test, working correctly. And I was working on a Arduino project to get myself familiar with Arduino programming, and I made a display tester for Bally and Stern Classic displays. And I was thinking about this, see how it's doing a segment at a time. You can't do that with a classic Bally display because of the interface between the CPU board and the display.
Uh-oh, looks like rain.
Now all those sounds came from the CPU board sound section. Lamp test, it's working correctly. Do single lamp test, and that's good. Let's go over to coil test. And again, these are multiplexed coils, so you'll see a red LED light followed by the orange LED, which is the A side, C side select relay, and then a green LED. Only for the first 8 coils. Now we're into the last 8 coils. These are not multiplexed, and those are working correctly. These are the special solenoids. They are working correctly, driven from the CPU, and I can also drive them from their switch inputs. This is the flipper power enable. We can do switch edges, my preference. I'll go through the diagonal, showing that all of these switches are working, and all 64 are at least reported by Whirlwind. This will do a C-side test, which is kind of really cool because Victor, when he was making this test board, integrated the A-side, C-side test into the board. So this actually works on a Whirlwind CPU ROM. So we're into the audits and adjustments. And let's set it to free play. Well, it's not going to matter because I got to put the Jokerz ROMs back in. But she reboots, and it's looking for a pinball. And I thank you so much for sending this one.